Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the tactics talk, fellas. Let's talk collapse. Oh boy. So, as we all know, Rumple Stomps are a thing in this game. I think that we've all had our share of time complaining about them. So let's talk about them. Maybe not necessarily as much complaint as just having a discussion here about the Rumple Stomps. And what I believe is we're having more of these, all right? I know we say that all the time, but it really does seem like at this point that a significant number of the battles turn out to be Rumple Stomps, either in one way or the other. Maybe that's actually always been true. I don't know, but it feels to me like I don't see as many even battles anymore, or close ones. Let's call them close, because even kind of connotates that everything should be fair and even, but I mean close, where it's the last few tanks trying to take out the last few tanks. The game does not lend itself to that. It's not designed in that way. The problem being that as you take guns and hit points off the board, when one team establishes an advantage, and this is a well-known, statistically studied and looked at phenomenon that happens in sports teams, happens in combat, happens in any kind of team-based activities where there's competition, that once one side gets an edge, it becomes increasingly more difficult for the other side to come back from that advantage. This game in particular is very much like that because there's no HP recoup. Although we've added some things like that into the game, which has helped out a little bit, there's no way to get your hit points back. Once lost, they do not come back in this mode, in the standard public mode of randoms. So what are some of the factors in World of Tanks that cause this? There's a lot of things that go into it. You know, it is a three-tiered game, meaning that you can have a higher class of vehicle taking on a vehicle that's two classes below it in terms of the way that Wargaming tiers it. There's currently a lot of issues with balance in the game in terms of tanks that are clearly superior than others within the same tier, never mind actually being then also two tiers above another tank. This particular battle is a two-tier battle. In the recent past, and I'm talking like 3 or 4 years, we've had much better matchmaker. I would say it's way better than it was. So it's a little more even, but we still have some major issues. So that's going on. Then there's the skill of the players. That is obviously an issue. We can have a long discussion about whether that's great, bad, or indifferent in terms of the way that it just randomly puts players into the matchmaking queue and takes into account zero of their skill level. So there's another piece that you can get thrown in there. You can absolutely have imbalanced teams, and we're going to see some examples of that today because I had 5 battles. I went 3 and 2. I had a 10,000 WTR, so I played well in each battle, particularly well in this one. Did I play well, or did I just score lots of damage? You be the judge. We'll talk about it as we go. There's some of that going on as well. The best result in terms of either team, the one I was on or the one I was not on, was a 9 and 6. That was the best result in terms of relatively even towards the end of the battle. Everything else was 10 and 5 or more. Rumple Stomps one way or the other. 3 went my way, 2 did not go my way on this one. And when I looked at the skill levels of the teams, there was a very definite advantage on 4 of the 5. Once against me, I think 3 times for me, and one of them was a little more even hard to suss out who was better or worse. The other issue then, when you bring the 2 things I just talked about, the skill level and the matchmaker together, you put your higher skilled guys in the higher tiers, the other team has their higher skilled guys in mid to low tiers. That you can look at it and go, well, in terms of WTR rating or PR or whatever you want to use, win 8, that looks fairly even on paper, but now you have to figure out which tanks they're in. Add into that what is the individual's goal in that particular match. It may not really be necessarily to win. They may need to spot some guys, and they're a really good player, and they played a light tank and they didn't have time and they YOLO through. Now that's really going down a rabbit hole and doing a lot of what ifs, but you understand what I'm saying. There are a lot of different motivations going on in these games. So we're going to look at talk about that as we go. We're also going to look at how the game itself goes, how the match goes, how the map, what the map is designed for, the way it's designed, where do people go, where do people deploy, how do they play their tanks, and how does that then add into the baseline imbalance of matchmaker and skill level, thrown into 3 tiers, thrown into maps that are good for some tanks, bad for other tanks, and see how that comes out. We're going to watch in a couple cases here, at least in 3 or 4, depending on how many we show, definitely 2, maybe 3, how that collapse kind of goes. And so if you're looking at it and going, all right, how do I avoid that? How do I get better at this game? We'll talk a little bit about that as well, or a lot of it, as the case may be. When you load in and look at the match and where you decide to go is hugely, hugely important on helping you to win the matches, okay? Some of this feels hopeless. To be honest, sometimes it feels like there's nothing you can do. I've had that feeling. I continue to occasionally have that feeling. It's always a battle against that kind of thing internally as best you can do. It is the case, absolutely, that you will get into matches that are horribly, horribly imbalanced in this game. The question is, can you get some on your side, some on the other side, and then find some nice ones in between? I feel like the nice ones in between are less and less. That may just be my perception. Let me know what you think down below. But let's talk about it as well, because once the match starts, all of the what ifs of who gets put in one slot are already determined by the matchmaker, and you're off to the races. We're not going to talk about, I think the game's against me in terms of penetration, dispersion, and damage rolls. That's a subject for another time. I don't personally believe in that stuff myself. You believe in whatever you want to believe in. We'll just go with random happens. However, that does throw in, you could have a critical miss or a critical non-pen or a low damage roll or something, probably several of them depending on how long the match goes, that could be very important in determining who wins. But we'll leave that particular piece out of the conversation right now, and we'll just talk about collapse as we go. So collapse is coaches tend to report behavioral factors such as immobility or the blaming of other players as critical factors. Maintaining team collapse. Sports psychologists reported cognitive factors such as individualization, interesting, or a lack of accountability between players. All right, that's just one little blurb on collapse in a team sport type of idea. And in terms of the military side of it, again, as a unit starts to lose military cohesiveness and power, it becomes something of a snowball. All right, so we'll come up here. We are on a standard setup, so we have some tanks down south. Unfortunately, on this particular map, you spawn into 2 places. Oh, by the way, that's another random throw of the dice, depending on where matchmaker puts your tanks. If I was in the, for example, the 122 TM on the enemy side, I would love to be up top here, because I'd love to take the 122 and even the 274 Alpha and use some gun depression and turret and come up to this little spot and have a good time. I am in a tier 8. I am top tier. I'm in a TD, which initially you might go, well, TDs go hide out in the back. Not today, not this time, not where I spawned in. I know I've got good depression, a really fast firing gun for the amount of Alpha I get, 400. If I come up to here and I see what I'm seeing now, I start to salivate. Things are looking great. I love that I didn't really run into anything trying to go hold down in front of me. And I'm getting free shots on a T26E5 who has just wandered out into the open right there. He is in a horrible position. Carlito63, who I've run into multiple times, is not a particularly good player over there, doing his best to be a T103. He's taken himself out of the battle. And I'm already looking at this going, I love this. I absolutely love this. This, right now, looks fantastic. It really is important where you put your tank. My team's coming. I love this. This is, look, there's nobody. Now, it is nice to have a TD back there on the TD spot, but based on what this team's doing, now I'm not bothered at all. It's early days, so let's see what goes on. We're going to put a shot into him. Nice fast reload on this tank. We'll back out a little bit. I am cognizant of the artillery. This guy knows he's in trouble. He's trying to get away, and all of a sudden, he just got absolutely wrecked. Well. Another really good enemy hold-down tank has wandered into the town. The Juto, not too scared of him. 103's kind of out of the fight over there. Yeah, artillery's a bummer. That guy has got half his hit points. I just found the Type 63 in the town. I love it. The enemy team has made an absolute shambles of their initial positioning. Does that mean we auto-win? No, we still have to play. Luck could happen. They could reorganize. We could lose our minds. There's a lot of things that could go on. But let's let this go and just watch the collapse. Slap him. Oh, by the way, on the luck side, which I said we wouldn't talk about, but we will a little bit, everything does go my way on this. So that is certainly a help, 100%. In this particular match, I think I hit nearly every shot but one. Artillery spanks the 63. He's down to a one shot. I always check what my team's doing. That's why you'll see my camera move around. Like, look at the hit points on everybody. Well, this is going swimmingly. I like it. Okay, that guy dies. Very good. Now we're going to start looking for shots on these other dudes. Now check this out. T832 comes up. That's a good hold down tank. We find one of their Ts. All right, so that's problematic. He could hurt people, but we push him back. He gets splapped twice. I eat a super Hellcat shot. Jams my turret, of course. So that's almost the worst thing that's happened so far is we have a Hellcat hanging out down here at the bottom of the town, of the village, that isn't getting spotted, but otherwise looking good. I'm not really sure what's going on down in the southeast, but it looks okay. It looks like most of our mediums have pushed up. We don't have a whole lot of Campalama ding-dangs. Down goes the Juto. That's two of them. And you start to feel it right here. Now, 2 down isn't necessarily one of those situations where you go, ooh, we got it. But look at the deployment, guys. I'll try not to pause a bazillion times, but holy macaroni. All right, we got one tier 8 that is hurting down in the bowl. We have the T-103 that took a couple hits. The G-Sword got thumped. He backed off. I know that the Iron Arnie is down there. I know the 122 TM is down there. I can see him right there. This is just looking good, and I can already feel this team starting to push the accelerator, and all we've got to do really, let's kill this guy. There's another tier 8. Thanks, guy. Nice. He's done. And we're about to come out of this. Watch this. Everything's working for me today. Boom. Down goes that dude, and the accelerator is on the collapse, right? The weight of this team, of the enemy team, of the purples, is now collapsing in on itself. They're already down 5 tanks. We've lost none. We've barely lost any hit points. We're 5,000 hit points up. We won the top, which, oh, by the way, really is the critical terrain on this map. I don't know how many times I've said it in my career talking about World of Tanks. The southeast is okay. It's a place you need to watch. Even winning it sometimes is nice, but what happened here is they held it, which was all they needed when you win the critical terrain. We did send enough down there. I'm not saying don't go there, but they held on to it, and that's all we needed. We just needed them to hold on, and we didn't get flanked, and now they're getting flanked. Now this is what cracks me up. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Fellas, what, you know, what, where are they all going? They're going to push down into the pit. Go. If you win that fast, come to where I'm coming over here, guys, so to speak. All right, come in here and look for shots on these guys. You don't need to go push down and go after their artillery or whatever these fellows are doing. And you will see the wisdom of this particular maneuver here. I have 2,000 damage, but I'm going to crank it up to about 4,000 because I'm right here where the damage is. Come to a position where you can support these. I knew these fellers were going to get lit. We held down in the south. We've got guys wrapping around. I do not know what the AT-15A's plan was, but he's executing it perfectly. He just sits there. That's a bummer. That's really the only shot that did not go my way. In fact, watch this next shot here. 122 is going to come up. I'm like, all right, let me just see if I can sneak a shot on this guy. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll just hit everything. The AT's getting crushed. And the Rompel's on, fellas. We've lost one tank. One tank. I talked about on Coffee Talk in a little bit lately that my kind of nebulous rule is if I lose 2 in a row, I quit. And it's been several days, 2 out of the last 4 or so, where I lost the first 2 battles and I quit. When I logged in today is Monday that I'm making this video. When I logged in, I only had 80,000 on that credit thing that goes in the locker there for having premium, not Watt Plus, but premium, the silver piece of it. That is the lowest amount I have ever had. I don't know how long, ever since that particular mechanic's been out, unless I was on vacation that week, and I was not on vacation last week. It's the least I played. So I sit down and I win the first two, but they're absolutely face rolls. In fact, not this one. I said, okay, granted, 4,200 damage, 600 assists, 3 kills, good game. So let's play another one because I'm getting close to being done on the 100 Battle Challenge with this tank. But I thought, I should just bag it today if this, But you feel good because you won. So we're going to play another one. But the collapse, right? Just absolute, complete romple. And the skill level, so what are the causes here? First of all, skill level. My team was way better. Not always the factor, but you have to add all these things together. So if you're an odds maker, you would take all this data, you'd put it together and go, well, the odds of this team winning like this are pretty high. Boom. Deployment, horrendous. The other team, horrible. Bad players, didn't know where to go, chose to not go to the right place. Whatever the reason is, bad players, horrible deployment. Oops. Yeah, whatever. Just leave it there. Can I cancel that? Yeah, there we go. Horrible deployment, and then gameplay-wise, things were going for our team. We are going to take advantage of the bad players and the horrible deployment, absolutely roll them in the critical terrain, push down, Southeast held, and it's a complete massacre. How much fun did the red team have? I'm suspecting not a whole lot. Next game went like this. Next game up, we're on Studzianski, and I'm going to head down here to the south. We have a pretty good convoy going. I had a really good game last time, so I'm like, whatever, pedal to the metal, let's just push in. I'm taking a tank that a lot of people would camp in the back with because it's a TD. I'm going to get forward and see what I can do. Now, I didn't really notice right now what's going to happen off to my right. I'm kind of concerned about the BZ-176, and I really want to go help that LIS, but I know the 176 is aiming in, so he's lit. I'm just going to wait. If he backs out, he's thinking about it. The LIS is fighting, and then this guy comes out, and I know he's looking the other way, so we'll just take a shot on him. And what I missed was, and good on him, the Suma and the CC went down there and ganked their WZ-111, who wasn't a particularly good player, and just like that, a massive advantage is created. Again, that's not an auto win. A lot of people lose a top-tier tank early and go on to win based on what else is going on. But notice that deployment-wise, we're about to own this south. You can see they've got a good amount in the up there in the factory, which is fine. We got a couple guys trolling around in the north, 2 ELC even 90s playing scout games with each other up there, but there's a convoy going on down here of aggressive players causing a massive issue for the enemy team. Now, if the enemy team had pushed in here, they might actually have an opportunity to sort of grind us up as we're getting super aggressive. They don't, though, guys. Again, skill and positioning. This enemy team had very little skill in relation to us, and their positioning was horrible. I like the LIS doing that. He's actually a pretty good player. He said, screw it, I'll take the shot. Let's just get rid of this guy and move on, and that's exactly what happened. And holy cow, they're down 3 tanks already. So we'll swing back this way. The reason I didn't push in with them is usually when you get this far, this early, there's a bunch of fellers kind of back here ready to gun you down. Like, where is their Object 263, fellas? Right? Where is the M449? Where is the Charioteer? Where is the Udes? Where's the Cobra? Where's the 50 TP? Well, watch the minimap and we'll find out. Bad players, and it's not necessarily a case of you're a bad person because you're a bad player. That's not it. And it's not even a case of you're bad at video games because you're bad at World of Tanks. Sometimes people just aren't that good. I just shoot right into that thing. Either they're learning, right? Getting better kind of idea, but at this point, they're just bad at the game, objectively. What? I don't know. The Cobra and the M449, that's where they are, guys. That's where they were found. They're right there. They're hanging out at cap, or at the spawn, sorry. This is an encounter battle. So they're hanging out at spawn. They're out there getting ganked. Notice that my team sort of all flowed to different places. I mean, it's just a great move by this team. Well done. I don't know what he's doing. He's just hanging out right there. Game's working out for me. That actually went through a fence, I believe. Down goes the 45, so we get him dead. I'm looking at this going, where's this even 90? Oh, there he is. So he's running around here. I'm going to miss this shot, unfortunately. But he gets thumped by the CC. I don't know why the even 90 YOLO'd in there. Terrible decision. Good for us. Worked out nicely for us. Thump that guy. All there is a charioteer in the middle. They've lost wholesale in every direction. Bad shot on my part. Should have aimed in. Should have remained aimed in right there, because I figured he might move forward again. Just late reacting to it. You might still be asking yourself, where's the 50 TP? Well, he's up in the north. Where on earth is the Object 263? A tier 9, absolutely brutal TD. Where is he? Well, you can guess. There's the Udez. This is actually crazy because the Udez, I think, hits me from here. I missed that. I think he shoots me right. It might be a little bit later. Cobra, there's the 263, fellas. It's in the back. We're going to come up here. We're going to shut this guy down. Just like that. Very nice. I take a hit from the Udez. Okay. Shoots me from over there. He dies. Cobra, I mean, it's collapse, right? You saw it happening. Terrible deployment. Not as good a team. Added to terrible deployment. At least for me, added to some decent RNG and stuff. We're good. We've done 1,400 damage. We're just going to push in. And now we're grabbing cleanup on aisle 5. Free damage here. We thump that guy. It's down to a 263 who hid in the back the whole game. I mean, sometimes one of the other thing, something we haven't talked about, is the. Let's see, let's hit this guy. I think I do get this. Yeah. The deployment of one critical tank can make a difference. So when you're looking at your matches and you're getting set up and you're thinking about where do I go, man, you got to get in there. You got to look at your tank, look at the match, and try to get to the place that's going to help your team. Because that did not happen here. Double down on this one with the enemy team just was not as skilled. And the second game I played was 15-4. Now this is where I was very close to just doing the kind of the reverse. If I just lose two, I'll just move on. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's great to go. Ooh, you know, I'm such a great player. Look at what I did. At the other hand, I looked at it and went, well, I mean, if I wasn't there, would it necessarily have mattered on this one? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I did go to the critical terrain. I did help the pushes and kind of get things going a little bit. But I don't know really if it would have mattered if I was involved in these matches or not for the win. Just based on how badly the other team was outplayed across the entire map. Let's look at one I lost. So we end up losing this one. We're here on Karelia, Himmel's Karelia Dorf. We've got a third of our team or more, whatever that is, just all camping up there. I make a move. The 3045 comes with me, and the Caro is on his way as well. So I want to get to this corner. I see the 4503. I see the Jagdpanther over there, and I'm thinking, all right, well, what about the 7032 and the T26? I'm going to move up to this corner, and we want to start to get some kind of idea of what might be here. This is a pretty good defensive position for the XM. I can do some pretty good damage here. Decent turret, so let's take a peek. Did anybody else show up? Doesn't look like it. I'm now waiting to find out where their 8s went. Our two VK100-01s, as I found out afterwards, are not very good players, but I thought their positioning was fine. I didn't hate it. That's kind of where 100-01 should be able to put a stopper on guys pretty well right there. As you're going to find out, they don't do a very good job at all. I moved up early, and I remember about right here looking back and going, oh my gosh, those guys didn't follow me. But we're going to put a shot on this guy. Nice fast reload on this tank. He's hating life right now, and we get rid of him. I bounced that shot good. He had to rush it. That's good. And then I noticed that the 4503 was actually a little bit further up there. I am getting the car to come help me. That worked nicely. I was able to bounce that shot. I should out-reload this guy by a little bit. He's going to fix that. Trying to make him miss or not shoot. He does that. Very good. Here goes the Caro. I was really, you know... I don't know where this guy's going, man. But he does hit me and he ammo racks me, of course. And then I low roll. Low roll, but I think I would have had him have a massive high roll to kill him. But we kill him. All right, pause. Everything's looking copacetic right now. This is not bad. VK's still alive. That's where all their tier 8s are, though, guys. Right? The 703, the T26, and maybe the SMV, but the Turtle's there as well. Uh-oh. I don't really probably have the power to push to their cap right now. There's a lot of tanks left. There's 2 artillery. So I'm looking at this going, yeah, fellas, let's turn this thing around. I probably should have typed it in to maybe try to get my team to help out, but watch what the team does. I'm going to come over here first to see if anybody's maybe sneaking around, because maybe there's somebody else pushing. Doesn't look like it. Su-101 dies. There goes the 3045, and you know what? We got to go back. This is not working out at all. I'm going to flex back to the middle. Maybe I can get shots on the 3045. Maybe I can support if they light any guys. The A46 is doing a decent job of keeping them lit. But it looks like all of their power's gone to the corner and is about to go after the VK 100-01s. What is the analysis of the Caro and the 3045? And I'm not necessarily picking on them as like they're the only guys that could have helped save this. It's just the team in general. When you look at it as a deployment, and then you look at how they play and where they redeploy, they didn't give us the best chance. We're in a little bit of trouble tanks-wise because the 100-01s are manned by not very good players. And in their defense, they're taking on like 4 or 5 tanks down there. Would have been nice if they'd have been able to do more damage. They really didn't do a whole bunch. In fact, I think one of them is a 0 damage. So that hurt. But if we're going to claw this one back, then how you react to this particular match matters, right? I didn't 100% hate the deployment. I wasn't too pleased by all the TDs that were camping, but I understand why a lot of them were relatively light, lower tier TDs. The problem is that if you look at this match and this map, I mean this map more particularly, sitting at the cap with a TD on this map just isn't a good idea. It is a late game damage farming position maybe. If the rest of the team does a really good job and hurts the pushers, you might have some possibilities. This is kind of what you're going to see with the purple team. The Caro and the T-3045 just push. Get some damage off this guy.
Enemy armor is hit.
And they're going to get killed. There's a 34-2 GFT, Su-100. Those are kind of the same tanks we had camping on our side, but they're going to be enough to kill these dudes. Right? We had an A46, the Jagdpanzer IV has gone through the middle. Like, the Jagdpanzer IV camped on our cap, and then his decision mid-game was to push straight through the middle and try to go for their cap. And I don't have any options. I have no help, no way to share any hit points with anybody. Good on the artillery for moving. I'm figuring, well, I might get some artillery help, but the problem is I wasn't really calculating what the enemy team looked like here. Because if you notice, there's a 703 version 2 double barrel. There's a Turtle, potentially. There's also an SMV. There are 2 other tanks. I'm not even sure what the other 2 are, to be honest, but 2 of them are on cap. And I kind of thought, well, maybe I can outplay these guys. Well, we have a chance. It doesn't look that ugly. There goes the JPZ-4. It's not that ugly, right? Well, it is. Because when I come around the corner, I find... Oh, geez. Oh, boy. Okay, that's not good. Well, great. He jams my turret. And the 703 too goes, hey, you know what? That's a XP slash hit point pinata. And I'm like, all right, let me get some more damage right here, right into the side. No, ricochet. Nicely angled. He has 2 barrels. Can I get out of here? No. Can't even get my second shot off. And I am dead after 700 damage from the double barrel. Now, I did say that the closest we got was a 9-5 or 9-6. I don't think we killed another one here, fellas, if I'm honest. Although I might have complained in chat. I think I did complain in chat. Oh, yeah, I did say something like, good job pushing the cap. There we go. Good job mindlessly pushing their cap. The Romple, the collapse. Now, to be fair, this one did take a while to collapse, but we really get to the same place at the end of the day. At the end of the day. So there you go. I'm not going to show you the other two. One was a win, one was a loss. Really in the same vein. Every one of the 5 games ran through basically the same template. Only one of them, one of the 2 I didn't show you, had anything kind of close to even skill levels. And it is the case that the worse the skill level, the less likely that they're going to go to the right place. It's certainly the case that the less likely that they're going to be able to analyze situations where they might need to take a tank that isn't ideal to the right place. That's probably the hardest one to learn, to be honest, is to understand that, my tank's not ideal for that place, but someone's got to be there. I need that gun there. I need that power there to increase our team's chance of winning. It was all kind of the same template here. It was all just collapse. Once it started to roll, man, hard to stop it. You notice I tried to, right? I'm going to come back and try to do something here to try to stop it. I don't know. Maybe this will be a good point of discussion down in chat. Tell me if you think I should have just pushed. Maybe if I take my tank to the cap, now it's a race to the cap. I don't know if I get there in time or can beat them fast enough, because they did have a lot of tanks there. And you notice that we've got 2 or 3 up top here. Could have probably just turned into a race to who can cap first. Realized there was artillery on both sides. So being able to hold a cap with our 2 artillery on both sides in either direction is hard. It would be certainly hard for us because there was nobody left on cap when they got there. Maybe an argument on that one. And honestly, I suppose it would be pretty cool if I could go back to that same situation and then choose to go down to the cap and see how close I could come to winning it. I think probably we still lose based on the tanks that are left and how it went. But I think it's a good mind experiment anyway. So there you go, guys. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I think there's another massive rabbit hole talking about the game design, hold down, the staleness of the meta, all the strong turret positions, all that kind of stuff, how that contributes to this situation. Because we'll touch on it slightly. Because the meta is so stale and ossified at this point, that the good players know where to go and generally do so, and that can cause a huge problem for people who are trying to learn and don't know where to go. Probably more so than in the past, because there are just better places to be on the maps than others, and the good players know where those are. And that can be a huge problem when you start talking the skill issue in terms of, random teams and there's no skill matchmaking there. If one team happens to have a significant number of good players, that can be a huge problem for the other team, just in terms of knowledge of the meta and how it works out. All right, guys, that's all I've got. That was a lot. You guys have a great one. We will see ya.